We are in the VPI house. That's what this is called,
Yep, the VPI house.
right? In a secret location in New Jersey.
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
428 Morristown Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Well, now
Secret.
it's not so secret anymore.
Darn it, I did it again.
So, Harry, here's the thing. You and I go way back.
Way back.
You were the president. Now, what was it called? The New York Audio
It's the
Society
New York Audio Society, and it was at the Dragon Seed Restaurant.
in Queens.
We were there when John Dahlquist brought his first mid-range driver there. I'll never forget that.
Wow.
And he compares its speed to the speed of a quad, and it was faster in its little frequency range.
And
It's
that's
very
why
interesting.
speakers look like quads.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's fulfilling.
We were there with the Ohms also, when they brought the
I
Ohm
remember this.
A's. I'm a little bit older than you.
Wow, no, not Ohm A's. Not that would be. I'm too young for that.
The Ohm A's, and that was unbelievably good.
But I'm thinking about when you came to a meeting with the VPI weight, the record weight.
Yeah.
This was the very first product? So to speak?
First
or was it
product.
actually a product, or was it just something you made?
I just made them because I thought we needed them,
Okay.
And
But was it called VPI at that point?
not at the beginning, but then about 6 months in, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes. Because I had taken it out to Pearson,
Uh-huh.
and he had said, if I'm going to write this up or do anything with this, what am I going to say? Harry's weight.
Uh-huh.
So, I had to do something. So we came up with VPI.
And which stands for?
I'm a Virgo,
Okay, that's a good start.
and it goes from there.
Virgo Product International. What is
Well, it could also be Virginia Polytechnical
Jeez.
Institute in the Moonlight, which I actually have a 78 RPM record
Okay,
of.
so you're not telling. Okay.
Well, people thought it was Vinyl Precision Instruments for the longest time. We kind of just rolled with it because it kind of sounded like
Yeah.
it was correct.
Very important something.
Yeah,
I
very
was in the sheet
people
metal
important.
business, so I wasn't really worried about
So
this.
you weren't thinking marketing.
Wasn't even thinking about any of this, and then it just began to happen and happen.
But you started what you called it VPI Industries, right? Or so implying that
Yes,
it's going to be this.
because we
the
had to
smoke
have an
stacks.
ending on it.
It couldn't just be
It
VPI.
just didn't. VPI just didn't sound right,
Uh-huh.
so we stuck an ending
It
onto
couldn't be
it.
like VPI Incorporated or company.
Yeah,
It had to be
it wasn't
Industries.
incorporated at that point.
Okay.
That was about a year and a half later.
So you start with the record weight, which is a machine chunk of what kind of metal?
Stainless
Stainless
steel,
steel?
303,
And it sold for the lofty price of.
$35.
Seemed like a lot of money at the time for a piece of metal.
It did. But if you think about all the machining that goes into
That's
it
what
and
you were
the
saying.
cost of the metal was about $3.50.
Okay.
Then the machining time, machines
Yeah.
at that time, it's about $100 an hour.
Uh-huh.
So it took about 15 minutes, to make it.
Wow. So that's
Piece
fair.
of change.
Fair
Yeah.
price. Yeah, fair price. And you weren't in the audio biz. You were in the
I was in the sheet metal
sheet metal
business.
business.
Yeah.
So So after that came like isolation bases, right?
I was playing around with that because I had feedback and I had to get rid of it, so I was playing around with that.
It's so pragmatic.
That's what you have to do.
Right.
But what changed everything was I go out to Pearson's house and I see the Keith Monk's record cleaning machine.
Mhm.
And that changes my life. He cleans a record. And that was the end. He plays the record on his Infinity Servostatics back then. And then he cleans the record on the $2,000 Keith Monk's machine.
Uh-huh.
And it's night and day. You know how the light bulb goes
Yeah,
off?
you go,
Bam. Wow.
Ka-ching!
And then the light bulb goes off. $2,000? My car was $2,000. Wait a minute, this doesn't work. So I had to make one. And I made one for me. And then I said, you know what? This wasn't that hard to make. I think I can make these. And that's how it all began.
That's how it started. So yeah, because a lot of younger people wouldn't know you didn't start with making turntables.
No.
from the get-go.
No, it was cleaning machines. I love a clean record.
That's a good button. I love a clean record.
It's next to godliness.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So if you guys want to know what Harry looked like back
Oh.
in 75 or so?
1978. Here we go. This is the VPI book. That's
Yeah.
right. Looks just like this guy.
Yeah. Who does he look like?
Looks
I
just
don't
like
know.
me. That's where I get those good looks from.
Yeah, I can see definitely like father, like son.
Oh, yes.
So wait, tell us about the book.
So,
The book.
the VPI book. This has been actually, I kept it a secret from my dad. You didn't know I was working on this, did you?
No
yeah.
idea.
Took almost a year to make this. And kind of what started it was, what really started was I saw another brand had hit their 40th anniversary. And I saw a quick little advertisement in one of the magazines, and that was it. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It's your 40th. That's it? That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
There's so many random brands coming up, these that are just showing up and not really getting involved with it. There's so much more to having a history.
Yeah.
And as I looked into it and researched it, it was kind of impressive. And for what it's worth, Dad, I mean, you were kind of nuts to stay in it because with making the book, and it actually just started off as a bit of a narrative in the sense that my mom had created. Sheila Weisfeld, and I had found that what she had written just about the past of
You should
VPI.
show her a picture.
Yes. So Sheila, and when I read what she had written, and it was just like a blurby thing that was on our website, the about VPI. And I was reading about that, and I'm like, wow, we can expand upon that, and a lot more has happened since. But what I think is pretty exciting, and this is the VPI timeline, is that in 1982, Philips/Sony's CD player was available for residents, was out there. That's also the same time that a lot of turntable companies were closing because how could they compete against the CD player?
Yeah.
In 1983, 1 year after, who decides to quit their day job? This guy and my mom. And so, and while I was doing, my dad didn't know that I was researching for the book at the time. I was just going through this and I was playing dumb, like, oh, hey, Dad, I noticed this. What were you thinking? And it was kind of like, I'm glad you stayed with VPI, but what the?
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
What were you guys thinking?
We never had an issue. Because as the pie shrunk, we got a larger piece of it.
Right.
So
We're the number
it
one American turntable.
didn't really affect us.
But when I asked him, what you actually said, though, was that I like making turntables. It was like so simple and so like silly. You're like, I like making turntables and I like music. And it's as simple as that. You know, you look at some companies, I won't say names, but a lot of companies that just left because of the bean counters. And now they're back because of the bean counters. And to me, I just think that that's the wrong reason. You know, it's
You must mean techniques.
he's retired, so
I guess he gets. I want. It's a pleasure.
No interlocutor. You can say what you
I
want.
can say whatever I want.
Yeah, screw it.
Techniques. They walked away.
So the thing that I was thinking about is you've made belt drive tables, rim drive tables, direct drive turntables. That's kind of interesting. You've done them all.
Yeah,
That's kind of rare.
I know.
Does anybody else, Mike?
I don't think anybody's made all three.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
they've made two, maybe,
Yeah.
Gord made all three.
but usually not
Okay.
three.
Gerard made all. So
Gerard? Yeah, well, yeah, but their direct
they made Eisler
was
drive, which is
something else. That they actually bought it. We're actually making this damn thing, which is crazy.
so. What is that? I mean, so since you've done it, and you've done all three, so do you have a preference? I mean, how about this? What is the difference in the sound between a VPI direct drive, a VPI rim drive, and a VPI belt drive?
Okay, you want to do it or should I?
Well, no, I'll do what I think is here's why we do it.
On this.
My opinion is because there's no right answer. Just because I was a trombone player and I played the piano.
All three.
Was that? Oh, of course, but no, because we had a listening session. This was amazing. And again, I won't say names. You could say whatever you want, Dad. But we had our direct drive and our rim drive. We did a whole listening comparison. We had the same unipivot arm. It was a prototype Fat Boy unipivot arm with a Lyra Atlas.
Which we moved from table to table.
Yep.
So it was the same thing.
Great.
Yeah, there is no other variable other than the motor itself.
Right.
The feet were the same. The chassis was the same. One was direct drive, one was rim drive. They get done listening. It was two of our Asian distributors, and they're like, "Ah, yes, clearly we know it's the best." And I was, "Ah, yes, I know it's the best." My dad and I are like, "Wait, which one was the best?"
Right.
And one said, "The rim drive's the best." The other one's like, "You." It was the rim drive, and we're like, "Uh-oh," and it was the direct drive, and they're going back and forth, yelling at each other.
Yes.
One bought the rim drive, one bought the direct drive. That to me, that was
go.
the best moment for me, because that's what I realized there's no right answer.
There's no right. There never is. It's always taste. It's what you're looking for, what you like.
A lot of this has to do with taste, but when it comes to numbers, if you want to do the engineering and you want to do the numbers, you cannot beat direct drive. It is so accurate that you can't even measure it off the record because the record has way too much error. It's got to be read off there's a magnetic ring on the inside. We have to read it right off of there. Records, if the center hole isn't exactly center, can't do it.
Right. And most aren't exactly in the
No,
center.
they're close.
Close enough for government work.
Then I
but-
bought $50 records where you can see it moving a 1/16 of an inch. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But I don't think people buy turntables for searching for perfection.
No.
Or I don't think they should, at least.
No.
I think they're searching for a sound,
Yes.
Yep.
not
Bloom.
the bloom.
Bloom.
I like that.
That's what it is.
That's what analog is about.
We do it here all the time.
Uh-huh.
We play digital. Best example. A certain company makes a certain piece of music on Super Audio CD, on CD, on vinyl, on master tape, and download. So we've done this test.
Right.
We have bought them all. And we listen. And of course, if you do it like that, master tape will always win. As long as you have your machine running right and everything is good. But if you transfer to 24/192 all these things except the download, which is already 24/192, and you listen, the worst is the 24/192 download.
Really?
The tape still wins, but the 45 RPM vinyl is so close. If you didn't know which you were listening to, you just wouldn't know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, we've done that here many times.
And DSD, was that in there too?
Well, that's on the SACD,
Right.
is DSD,
Right.
and we come out using a Game Boy. Shh, don't say we use a Game Boy.
That's the player?
Wait, a Game Boy?
Oh,
Game Boy, not play Game Boy.
I'm sorry.
PlayStation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on. Know your game systems,
I,
Dad.
I don't
Game
know
Boy.
my game systems, but if you use that, it's a specific one. You can get the DSD
Right.
out, and it's really good. But it's still not as good as the reel-to-reel tape or the 45 RPM record for what you would call a natural Carnegie Hall sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That. What's the word I'm looking for? Room
Room.
bloom.
Room bloom.
Yes.
I want
Room
a button.
bloom.
Room bloom. There you go. Make a
We're
button.
expanding upon this this bloom.
Bloom.
And it may not be a thing wrong with digital.
Right.
It just may
perfect.
be we're not that good yet
Yeah.
with it.
Well, they're all wrong.
It's getting better and better and better
Right.
because we make the 24/192 copies and we play them on the same machine that makes them. They sound absolutely amazing. Play them on another machine, it doesn't sound as good. Different clock, different whatever. So I'm
So-
not sure what it is, but it's
Room
something.
bloom.
We can hear it.
I'm going to go for the room bloom.
Room
Yeah.
bloom.
That's the answer.
What's that?
Ding, ding, ding. So I'm going to change subject slightly. So is it true that, I don't know, you thought it consciously in the beginning, but it's just turned out to be the way you run your business over the years, over 40 years, that you're pretty dedicated to using U.S. sourced parts?
That's 95% about what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Even going forward now, that's still what we do. It's people ask me all the time how many people work for VPI. Technically, well, originally it was 4 people. It was my mom, my dad, my grandma, and this gentleman Leo, who was with us
Grandma
forever.
worked there too?
Oh, of course, got to put grandma to work over here.
She's
Come
still
on.
working.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She still
here,
goes over.
working the room.
So now, years later, we have 15 people, roughly 15 people at VPI, but not really. If you count all of the machine shops, the woodworking partners, the every component, the 3D printers, every other machine shop partner and vendor, we have over 100 people.
We keep them in business.
Wow.
He buys over $1 million worth of parts every year. That's a lot of people working.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Actually, it's more than
I
that.
was about to say, it's
Way
it's
more
a
than
lot
that.
more than that, Dad. And we've done a lot to expand and to streamline. I think that a transition we've made is, and of course it was the romantic side of VPI of how there was a lot of change with each unit, a lot of bespoke factors, which was cool. But when the transition, now we do a lot of streamline, having it where a lot of like parts, and so just having being able to make 5,000 platters, for example, and have the same platter and bearing that'll work with multiple parts, so we can take the American component and keep it at a reasonable part. Actually, what's kind of wild...
Reasonable price.
What's that?
Reasonable price.
Reasonable price, yeah. And what's ironic is there's a specific part that we used to do overseas. Then we started making it in America. And then just for kicks and giggles, we were thinking about going back overseas. We are 3 times less than the overseas price now.
Wow.
And I was really proud when I found that out. And we weren't planning on that. We just got really good at making that component. And that was a component that was always overseas, and now it's an American-made component. And Dad and I were talking like how, just go back to the other guy. I'll make life a little easier. I'm like, oh, they're 3 times more pricey now. We're going to keep that in America.
There you go. Good to know.